Jakob hat herabgescharrt, die Erde von seinen Ponnen. Jakob uh, pushed away, or uh, yeah, pushed away the earth from his.
Wiped off.
Sorry, brushed.
Wiped off.
Sorry,
Brushed off.
brushed off. Thank you.
Brushed.
Ja,
Wiped off.
brushed off. Is gegangen auf Hinterweilig. He walked backwards, sich gesegnet mit dem Bergel Erd, and he parted from the little mound of ground. Had genommen zoeken naar steen. He started to look for a stone. Had gewollt, he wanted the Yaakov Avinu, like Jacob, our forefather, wegleggen steen auf dem Kever von sein beliebt Weib. He wanted to put a stone on the grave of his beloved wife. Aber ze seien do arum nicht gelegen kein Steiner. But no stones were lying around here. Is bald gewend zurück in Stettel, and he soon went back to the village. Is voorbij das Beis Midrash. He passed the study house. So hat sich dort geleuchten a Licht. A light was shining there. Hat geöffnet die Tiere und gesehen, an alten Jid sitzen bei einem Ständer und reingucken in a Sefer. He opened the door and he saw an old man standing at what you call it, one of these stands where you keep a book, and he was looking into a holy book. Yaakov had him gekonnt, Yaakov knew him, Reb Tuvia, der Schwer von Bezalel Lederkrämer. It was Reb Tuvia, the father-in-law of Bezalel, the leather merchant. Von 8 Kinder is ihm gehat geblieben, die eine Tochter. From 8 children, only 1 daughter remained. Bezalel's vibe, Bezalel's wife. Had gestammt von Kalish. He originally came from Polish. Gegen der Schein von Lichtel hat Sockens von ihm ausgewiesen, schwarz wie Erd. In the light of the little candle, the old man's face looked black as the earth. Die Bord dunkel und keutig. The beard was dark and dirty. Die Kapotte hat sich unten verscharzt wie das Kleid von Moveres dicker Idener. The Kapotte, his coat was rolled up. Below his coat was rolled up like the dress of a pregnant woman. Der Socken hat gehabt a Winkelbruch. The old man had a hernia, an inguinal hernia. Alle etliche Wochen is ihm a roistos Unterleib. Every few weeks, his belly jutted out. Und so hat sich gefunden in Pilitz Einidener, and there was one Jewish woman in Pilitz, Gabaita, the Gabai's wife, was hat das gekonnt zurück reinstecken, who was able to push it back inside again. Das lassen ein Isha sich porn mit seiner verborgenen Glieder, to allow a woman to busy herself with his hidden glieder, his intestines, but in this case, but glieder means limbs.
Limbs.
Sorry?
Limbs, yeah.
Limbs, yeah.
A glied is a limb.
Yeah, but in this case, it would probably
Yes.
be pushing back his hernia. His gewähnt vor dem Socken mehr Zar wie die Weitigen, was der Feller hat ihm verschafft. allowing a woman to do this to him was more trouble and more upsetting to this man than the pains that he had from the failure that the failure caused him. Jetzt ist gesessen inmitten der Nacht und gelernt Teure. Now he was sitting at midnight and studying Torah. Is Chalila nicht kein Ganav. He is, God forbid, no thief. What Yaakov him wie verantwortet. Jacob justified him there. Kommt op for die Sind. He is atoning or suffering. He's suffering actually. Opkommen ist. He's suffering for die Sind, for the sins von anderen, of others. Die Ganovim seinen amizet, nicht amizet, amiet. I think it's a amiet. Thieves are in the minority. Nicht darauf, not a majority. Minder, fewer. Nicht kein Mehrheit, not a lot. Jakob ist gestanden und geguckt auf den Socken. Jakob stood and looked at the old man. Aber jener hat sich nicht umgeguckt. But the old man didn't look around. Is gewesen taub und halbblind, parazulog. He was deaf and half blind in addition. Hat zugelegt die Augen und zum Sefer. He neared his eyes so near to the holy book that he was studying, as hat gemat mit die Vers unberührt, die Oisius, so that he almost touched the letters with his eyes, with his eyelashes. Still Brumenisch hat sich getrogen von ihm. A quiet humming came from him, carried from him. Halb Gesang, half singing, halb gewein, halb gewein, half tearful. Wenn nicht, dann seine wie if not for those such as him, wohl schon Avada von Jeden nicht geblieben kein Saredu Blit. And that's Hebrew, and I'm not sure the pronunciation. He would certainly
I would say sorry to Polit.
There would not have remained a remnant of Jews. What Jacob zu sich gesagt, Jacob said to himself, Jacob hat sich mit einmal der Mund an dem Kind in dem Bible, was hat es genommen zu, what is genommen to sich. Yaakov suddenly reminded himself about the child and the wife who took it to themselves.
Is where we stopped.
Jakob hat sich mit einmal der Mund an dem Kind und in dem Bible, was hat es genommen zu sich. And as Jacob said, Jacob reminded himself of the woman and who had taken his child. Hat allein nicht gewusst, was. He really didn't know why, nor hat gehalten in ein vergessen an dem Kind, but he kept on forgetting about the child. Und hat sich jedes Mal gemusst ermonnen von Snai, and each time he had to remind himself anew, muss ihm aufziehen, I have to raise him, educate him, nicht überlassen, kein heilig Kyla Picken Yosem. I dare not leave him a maimed, a Kyla, someone help me, a Yosem, a maimed orphan. Sorry is the...
Yeah, an orphan without parents.
Okay, thank you.
That's what I got in the dictionary.
Okay. But Kailach is more something around.
Round, yes.
Anyway, your translation sounds good. Sarah is doch der wegen mir gekommen zu Fulham. Sarah Avatus had come to me in a dream. Erst ich had ihm zum ersten Mal angenommen, der Tatischer Niger. Now, for the first time, um, uh, he, uh, he, he, um, he was overtaken by fatherly curiosity. Is ihr Kind, he is her child, ihr Blut und Fleisch, her blood and flesh. Die Weiber haben doch viel geredet, als ist ähnlich zu ihr. The women even had said that he was resembling her. Gerechnet gerecht is der Shader. The messenger from the Holy Land was right. Hinter den behält sich der Chesed. Behind the rigorous law, there is mercy. So hat ihm geschleudert, when hat sich gelost gehen to der Stube. He shuddered and he went to the house, wo man hat weggegeben das Kind, where they had given away the child. I'll do one more paragraph and then whoever wants to take over. Jakob hat gedenkt, wo und wenn man noch hat weggegeben, das Kind. Jakob remembered to whom and they had given away the child, aber in der Nacht ist ihm schwer gewesen, unterzuscheiden, das Heisel, wo die junge Frau hat gewohnt. But in the night, it was difficult to distinguish the house where the young woman was living. Umatum seinen bestanden verhammert die Loden. Everywhere the shutters were hammered closed. Jakob hat sich ausgedacht, als in die Portag, was ist gehabt, weg von Stadt, it seemed to Jacob that in the few days that he's been away from the farm, is showing davor gekommen a Veränderung. There had already taken place a change. Hat untergestellt an euer und geleucht zu dem Gefähn von ein Kind. He took his ear and he was trying to overhear the crying of a child. Hat geleuert in draußen wie a Ganef. He was lurking outside like a thief. Noch a Zegernisch hat bei sich aufgepasst, anzuklappen in a Tier. After some hesitation, he decided to knock on a door. Hat sich da nicht gekonnt, drehen a ganze Nacht. He couldn't wander around here all night. Hat zugelegt a Hand zu a Klamke. He put a hand on a doorknob und die Tür hat sich geöffnet and the door opened. Hat gesehen bei der Schein von der Wonne 2 Betten und 2 Wiegen. And he saw by the shine by the moonlight, 2 beds and 2 cradles. A manspiel hat getan a broom. A man let out a murmur or a rumble. A Freu hat sich übergeweckt. A woman woke up. A Kind hat genommen weinen. A child started to cry. Der manspiel hat a Freg getan mit Gebeser. The man asked angrily, and I think I can stop there.
Okay. Wer ist das dort, huh? Who's there? Seid Moil. Moichel. Seid Moichel. Das bin ich, Jakob, der Tate von Kind. It's me, Jacob, the father of the child. Es ist geworden a while, ungeladen still. It stayed quiet for a little while. A Fille das Kind hat wie eingehalten das Gewehen. It seemed that the child had stopped its crying. Finster is mir. It's dark in here. Hat die Freu a Ruf getan. the woman cried out. Man hat euch herausgelost von Tfisa. Did they let you out from, what is Tfisa?
Captivity. But can I just mention that finster is mere means it's dark for me, but I think when you say it in Yiddish, it means woe is me.
Thank
out
you.
of the prison. The Tvisu is a prison.
Yeah, because they thought that he'd been taken by those soldiers, those dragoons. Hat der Mann gefragt. The man, the husband asked, Ich bin entlaufen. I escaped. Will mein Kind, I want my child. A while haben alle geschwiegen. For a while, everybody was quiet. Dennoch hat das Weibel also getan. Then the woman said, Weh es mir, wo wird ihr nehmen, asa Ufele inmitten der Nacht? Woe is me. Who is going, what is that word, ufle?
Ufele.
Little baby.
Ufele, it's a little baby.
Who's going to, where are you going to take a little baby in the middle of the night? Azab Pitzels Tormen nicht rieren. People don't do things like that.
Such a little child. You dare not move such a little child. A pitzel is a little child. A little thing.
Sminster Wittel und what is Sminster Wittel?
The slightest wind, breeze.
Yeah, the slightest breeze, and I guess she's saying that it's going to be bad for the child. Hob nicht kein Brure.
Breira.
What is Breira?
No alternative. I've got no alternative.
I have no other alternative. Muss bald weg. I have to get away quickly. Die Regime suchen mir. The soldiers are looking for me. Sinton alich. Put a light on. Hat die Freu abafel geton der Mann. The wife told the man to do that. Met sich noch anscheppen in uns. Anscheppen?
It means
Anschippen is, yeah, sorry, carry on.
No, you carry on.
What is just?
It's they're going to pester me, the authorities.
Red Gor as der Poritz will zunehmen Kind zu sich. They are saying that the Goyim are going to take the child to themselves.
Yeah, the Poritz, the nobleman.
The nobleman,
wants to take the child to him for himself.
Yeah. Wind und Weh was mentioned to and up. People are always doing terrible things. On Kochel will ich das Kind nicht herausgeben. I won't give up this child without, what is Kochel?
Kochel is without the community.
I won't give this child
permission of the community.
I won't give up the child without the permission of the community. Hat der Mann getan aruf, the man cried out. Kochel hat es mir gegeben und soll es kochel zurücknehmen. The community gave him to me and the community should take him back. Ich bin nicht mehoib zu leiden. Mechoib. Zu leiden.
Ja.
Für jenems mamzerim. Something he's not willing to do for anybody's bastard. What is mechoib?
Complicated
I'm
to
not.
do.
You were going to say, Yaakov?
I'm not responsible to suffer for somebody else's bastard child.
Right. Will ich
Not
batzolen?
prepared.
Will ich batzolen für der Teroches?
Tircha.
Tirche. What is a golden? I'm sorry, I need help with that whole sentence.
Yeah. I'll pay you for your trouble. What is a gulden? Here's a coin.
Right. Es geht nicht wegen der Teroche.
Tircha.
Triche.
Tircha.
Tirche. It doesn't go.
It's not about the trouble.
Okay. Die Freu hat umgehangen auf sich am Malbusch. The woman put some clothing on herself, probably a dress, like a dressing gown or something like that. Sie hat sich weggestellt beim Oven. She stood next to the oven. Genommen Blosen in die kliendike Keulen. She began to blow on the smoldering coals. Ungezünden a Knekht in a sherbela. And she lit a wick in a little lamp. A dunkele shine is a falgeton über die nicht getinkte Wind. A dark shine fell over the unplastered walls. Dem verräucherten balken and the smoke blackened ceiling. Auf zwei Bänk, einer a milchiger und einer a fleischiger, seine gestanden Schüsseln on 2 benches, one for milk dishes and the other one for meat. There were standing pots and bowls. In a Multer übergedeckt mit Schmattes hat gejöert a teig. In a trough covered by rags, the dough was fermenting. Es hat sich da gewalgert, windelig, wickelig, streuwischen. They were lying around diapers, swaddling cloths, and wipes. In Pommerschaft hat sich geweckt Mist. In a slop pail, there was soaking, garbage was soaking. Bei einem von die Betten ist gestanden ein Nachttop. Next to one of the beds, there a chamber pot was standing. In ein Wiggle is gelegen een alter kind. Das jenike was had eerst nog geweend. In one crib was lying an older child, the one who had just been crying. Es ist gehad wieder eingeschlafen, but it had fallen asleep again. In der zweiten Weg, zugedeckt mit der keutig Kischen, hat Jakob der Sen sein Sohn. In a second crib, covered by a dirty cushion, Jakob saw his son. A pizzele Menschele, reut mit a zu großen Scherben. A tiny little fellow, a little person, red, with a skull which seemed to be too big, naked on hor, bald without any hair, mit blasse vias, and having pale eyelashes. An alter Tsar hat geruht auf dem Penemel. Die Mietkeit von Mesucken schlafen, wie bei der Mutter beeis sie ist gelegen, nond zu Gesisse. It was as if an old pain or suffering was resting on his little face. The exhaustion of a seriously ill being. Like just like his mother at the time that she was lying close to death. Auf dem blassen Nesel, dem noch nicht ausgeknetschtem Stern, on his pale nose, but above his pale nose, was his yet not fully shaped or smoothed out forehead. Die Lippelig was haben sich kaum bewegt. His little lips, which were hardly moving, hat geschwebt, als Sod nicht von der Welt, endlich zum Tod. So on his his forehead, which had not yet smoothed out, there was, and his lips, which were hardly moving, there was hovering a secret, not of this world, something akin to death. A pachad hat Jaakoven ongenommen. Fear overtook Yaakov on gewein, and also a cry. Hat erst jetzt recht benommen, as hat a Sohn. He now, for the first time, grasped that he had a son. Das Weibel hat sich weggestellt auf der anderen Seite weg. The young woman was standing on the other side of the crib. Where are you going to take this swallow, this child? Sis eigene wie hargenen a Mensch hat der Mann so getan. It's the same as if you were to kill a person. Her husband said from Beta Royce, from while he was lying in still lying in bed. Is halb gelegen, halb gesessen. He was half lying and half sitting in a verfleckten Taleskotten, in a stained Taleskotten, like a tzitzis, in a verfeddered couple, and with a yarmulke which was covered in feathers. In der Bord und in die Payas haben gehangen fuchelig. In his beard and in his payas, there were hanging bits of down. Von die schwarze Augen hat rausgepintelt a mansbilsche Opgenardkeit. From his black eyes, there shone or blinked a masculine disappointment. Jacob hat wohl gewusst, als das Poorvolk ist gerecht. Jacob really knew that this couple was right. Aber hat sich abgegeben nach Heshbon, als ob nimmt nicht mit sich das Kind jetzt, wird es mehr keinmal nicht sehen. But he had made the calculation that if he didn't take the child with him now, he would never see him again. He would never lay eyes on him again. Hat sich den Mund an dem Cholem und in Sora's Wörter. He was reminded of the dream and of Sora's words. Hat sich wie ungegurt mit Akshonas. It was as if he armed himself with stubbornness. Ich will es abhitten. Sis a warme Nacht. I'll look after him. It's a warm night. Sis nicht so warm. It's not really that warm. Fartog wird schon gut kalt. At dawn, it gets really cold. Ich will nicht weggeben mein Sündenporetz. I will not hand over my son to the nobleman. What Yaakov gerät, Yaakov said. Es ist geworden still. As Simon, as Afazat Taina is nicht kein Entfer. It became quiet, which was a sign that such a claim was it was not an answer. That wasn't it wasn't a valid answer. Yaakov hat herausgenommen dem Gulden. Yaakov took out the coin from his pocket. Das ist für me. This is for your effort, your trouble. Ich wollte gegeben mehr, nur man hat bei mir als Arois gegambelt. I would have given you more, but everything was stolen from me. I feel die Kalim von Stub, even the vessels in the house. Ich weiß alles. I know everything. Ich weiß alles. Gebre Kadisha hat opgelegt a Bendel. The Gebre Kadisha, they took advantage of everything. They took everything out of the house. Man hat gemeint, als schön chas v'sholem keinmal nicht zurückkommen. They thought, they believed that you would never, God, heaven forbid, ever come back. Alle haben genommen nach uns. Everybody took things besides us, hat der Mann geredet. The husband said, man hat gehabt wie von Hefker. People grabbed it as if these items had been abandoned. Veres hat gehat a hand und a fies und a fuß. Everyone who had a hand or a foot had taken things. Man hat bei mir a rausgenommen das Geld von Streusack. They took the money that I'd hidden in the straw bag. Bald noch Yom Kippur, straight after Yom Kippur, had stolen this stuff from me. Mein Mama Olea Sholem pflegt zusagen, nia Pasai I nia Gavai. So this must be Ukrainian or Russian. My mother of blessed memory used to say, Mien soll sie sich in Gan Eden. May she intercede for us in the Garden of Eden. Sorry. Do you know what that means? Nia Pasai?
Yeah. If it's not this, then it's not that. But I don't understand. I don't know the words fastai and ganvai. I'm sorry. Well, ganvai is theft. Maybe it's not a theft. And nifastai, I don't know if it's been abandoned, you're not stealing. Maybe that's what that means.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense. So and may my mother intercede for us from heaven. Sieht uns gelernt, as jenems is heilig. Hat das Bible geredet. She taught us that another person's property is holy. The young woman said, Haben mir Taka azaponim, hat der Mann zugegeben. And so we haben mir Taka azaponim. Not sure how to translate that. Is this how we look?
Yeah, that's the way I would have translated it.
Yeah, so is this how we would have...
Is this what we are? How we appear?
How we appear, yes. The husband added, Wo wird ihr gehen mit dem Eifela? Where are you going to go with the little child? Nu, ich will besser nicht fragen. So perhaps I shouldn't even ask. Das Weibel hat genommen sich herumgucken über der Stub. the young woman began to look around the house. Sie hat ausgesucht a Käberl, es ausgebet mit Schmattes. So she picked out a little basket and she lined it with rags. Verfleckte Windelach, stained diapers, reingelegt das Kind, and she placed the child in it. Übergedeckt mit dem Kissen and covered it with the cushion. Das Kind hat getan an einzigen Wimper. The child gave a single whimper, geworden anschwiegen, and then became silent. Das Weibel hat so getan, and the young woman said, "Me darf das Kind unsäugen, alle etliche Schau. One needs to nurse the child every few hours." Ich will Emerson kriegen. I'll get someone to do this. When? Wer soll? Oi, Mama meine. When? How? Oi, my mother. I'm not sure how actually to express that. My dear mother, I don't know. Und das Weibel hat sich zerweint, and the young woman began to cry. Mit amol hat sie so getan, and suddenly she said, "Wart, gel opzappen a bissel Milch von der Brust. Wait, I will draw some milk from my breast. Wo ist das Fläschel? Where is where is there a bottle? Der Mann is a rob vom Bett. Her husband got out of bed. Von dem zerrissenen Hemd haben a rausgestarrt dine Fies. From under his torn shirt, his torn nightshirt, there he stuck out his thin feet, krumme und horika. They were crooked and hairy. Hat gefunden vor dem Weib a manke. He found a bottle for his wife. Zusammen mit der Mischpoche haben sich übergeweckt die Stubbeschäfenischen. Together with this family, the people, the creatures of the house woke up. Die Katz hat sich gezeugen. The cat stretched itself out. Von Kotuch hat gequacket a Hund. From the space under the oven, a hen squawked, ja. Wärm seinen herumgekrochen über die Wand. Worms were crawling over the over the wall, dem oven, and over the oven. Von a Loch in Deal hat a Meisel a rausgesteckter Keppel. From a hole in the floor, a little mouse stuck out its head. Das Weibel hat sich umgekehrt zu der Wand. The young woman turned around and faced the wall. Gezappt Milch von der Brust, and she drew milk from her breast. Jakob is gestanden, aber nummener. Jakob stood like one possessed. Wie lang wird das sei dauern, Vater in Himmel? How long is this going to last, Father in heaven? Was wird sein der Tachlis von dein Welt? What will be the result of this in your world? Hat gehat Rachmonos sei auf die Menschen, sei auf die Beschäftigten. And he had pity both for these people and also for the creatures. Die Katz hat ungespitzt die Ohren, geleucht. The cat pricked up its ears, and as if she were eavesdropping. Das Of hat gewahrt auf der Schchitter, and the bird, the chicken, was waiting for the slaughter. Die Menschen allein schächten euch einer dem anderen. The people themselves were as if they were slaughtering one another. Nu, und da will Jakob, aufziehen als Sohn, nachdem wie die Reutschim haben verpeinigt die erste 3 Kinder seiner. And now he, Jacob, wants to raise a son after the murderers had killed or murdered his first 3 children. Memuz, one has to do it. Man hat nicht kein Brera, one doesn't have an alternative. Sis als bar korchoi, mit Gewalt. It's against one's will. One has to do it by force. Hat Jakob zu sich gemurmelt. Jakob muttered to himself. Hat itzt mekane gewinn Soren, and now he envied Sora. Sie ist schon das Irike übergekommen. She had already done her time. Schon heraus von dem Choshech Mitzrayim. She was already out, had left the darkness of Egypt. Als finster, wie es ist da, kann nicht sein in kein Schum Welt, a viele nicht in Gehennen. Such darkness that was being experienced here could not be in any other world, even not in Gehenna, in hell.
Das Weibel hat sich umgekehrt. The young wife turned around. Im der Land die Mamke, she gave him the mamka. I think a mamka must be something like a dummy for the kid to suck, but I don't know. I couldn't find Mumke anywhere.
A bottle.
A bottle, okay.
Bottle, yeah.
Verstoppt mit Schwarzkala. Oh, it must be a bottle which was blocked off with a little rag. Sie hat angewiesen, Jakob, wie soll reinzugießen dem Kind in Meilachel einzige Tropens. She showed Jakob how to pour in to the child, into the child's little mouth, a few drops. Soll sich Khalila nicht kränken, that it shouldn't, God forbid, make him sick. Jakob hat wohl gewusst, als stellt ein das Kind und sich allein euch. Jakob knew that he was putting at risk himself as well as the child. Weil mit dem Kind auf die Hand wird sich nicht können beschützen, ob soll auf ihm anfallen, because with a child in his hands, he would not be able to defend himself if people should attack him. Aber hat nicht gekonnt überlassen sein Blut im Fleisch, Sarah's ben Yochid, but he couldn't leave behind his blood and flesh, Sarah's only child, zwischen Fremder und Solim, among strangers and enemies. Ob es ist ihm beschert zu leben, wird leben. If it is his destiny to live, he will live. Jakob hat gedankt dem Volki, thanked the couple einmal und wieder einmal, again and again. Hat geredet von a Chäuv, was nur der Oberster kann bezahlen. He spoke of a debt that only God could repay them for. Is arois in der Nacht. He went out into the night und sich gelost gehen zum Wald and wandered down to the forest auf dem Weg zu der Weissel on the way to the Vistula und der Prom and the ferry that he'd been at before. Azoi wie is gegangen, as he was going, azoi hat getont viele. He was praying as he was wandering along. Hat aufgehoben den Blick zum ausgesternten Himmel. He lifted his vision to the heaven that was studded with stars. What will do, Father, what do you want? When our posuk is in gekommen auf die Lippen, and a verse came to his lips. Hisami meni ve'avliga beterem eilech ve'eneni. Kehr op von mir, turn away from me. Will ich wel sich ein bisschen starken, and I will strengthen myself. Eider ich gehe weg und bin nicht da. Before I leave and I'm no longer there. Asemi meni, which means take away from me. Okay. Before I go walk along, I'm no longer there. Now, obviously a verse. Do you know which verse it comes from, Jacob?
I'm sorry, I didn't look it up. I don't know where it comes from.
Anyway, it's a good verse. Die Telefone ist schon untergegangen. The moon had already gone down. In Wald ist geworden finster. It got dark in the woods. Jakob ist gegangen über dem waldigen Steg. Jakob wandered along the woody pathway. Hat getappt der Weg mit die Tritt. He patted on the road with his steps, as if he had a small opgestellt, stopped every time when sich zugehört, sie das Kind lebt, and listened to see whether the child was still living, breathing. Hat mit der Spitzzunge Aleketon dem Ständen dem Stellenzieher ist nicht kalt. It must be dem Stern. And he touched with his tongue, he licked with his tongue the child's forehead to see if it's not cold. I think that's an error. What do you think? It must
Yes,
be.
I think it's a typo.
Ja, ja. Jakob ist gerade durchgegangen in sein Leben als Nachzores. Jakob had endured many troubles in his life, nur ist noch keinmal nicht gewesen, als auf voll mit Angsten, wie in jeder Nacht. That he was never, uh, he has never felt as much anxiety as he felt that evening. Hat so viel gebeten, als die Lippen seinen ihm geworden ungedrungen. He prayed, he begged such a lot that his lips became swollen. Hat sich gehabt im Ganzen übergegeben in die Hände der Asgocha. He gave himself entirely into the hands of Providence. Aber hat dabei gewusst, but in addition he knew, as this is a krummer gang, that this is not a straight path, it's a crooked path. Man verlässt sich nicht auf Kenntnissen. One should not rely on miracles. Nur that, aber hat nicht gehabt kein anderer Ausweg, but he had no other way out. Hat gehabt, aufgeworfen die Joch auf Gott. He threw the burden onto God. Es ist gar nicht geblieben mehr wie der Funk betochen. Only uh, uh, a flame, but it's a funk. It's a very little flame. Only a spark of belief remained with him. Funk is a spark. Jakob hat getreten und wie geweckt dem schlafenden Kind mit seiner Füße. Jakob trod and...
Schlafendicken Wald.
Sorry?
The Schlafendicken Wald.
Oh, ja, thank you. Der schlafende Wald mit seiner Füße. Jakob trod and it's as if he woke up the sleeping forest with his feet. Zweige haben sich gebrochen unter ihm. Branches broke under him. Hat angetreten auf Moch. He stood on moss, nördlich needles, fischkes, pine cones. Vögel haben sich übergeweckt. Birds woke up. Heilig seinen abgesprungen. Little animals jumped up. Jakob ist die ganze Zeit gewesen in Sakona, also Zweig soll sich nicht verzeppen von dem Käberl und Tonschoden dem Eifaller. Jakob all the time was in danger that a branch shouldn't damage the basket and do damage, should not should not become involved with the basket and damage the little child. Hat ausgespreid über dem die Hand, and he spread over it his hands, es beschützt mit der Polle von sein Malbusch, and he protected it with the coattails of his what he was wearing, his clothes. Oben gekonnt treffen mit ihm allerlei Streichlungen. Any number of stumblings could happen to him. Hat vernommen a Geheul wie von a Wolf. He heard the howl as of a wolf. Haben da in die Wälder sich aufgehalten Hirschen, wilde Chazerim werden. In this wood there were deer, wild pigs, and bears. Jakob hat reingesteckt die Palke in bosom. Jakob put a pole, a club, in his bosom, bereit sich zu fechten mit Mensch und Chaya, ready to fight with man or beast. Die Augen haben sich gehabt, zugewohnt zu der Finsternis. His eyes had accustomed themselves to the darkness. Hat gesehen bei der Schein von die einzelnen Sterne. He saw by the shine of the few stars, was haben sich durchgerissen durch der Gedächtnis, that for themselves, the shine of the stars for themselves through the darkness, through the thickets. Soll schein werden Tag, if only day would come. Soll schein aufscheinen die Sonne, if only the sun would shine. Hat half gebeten, he half prayed, half befeuillen, half ordered. Hat alleen gespielt in die he himself felt in his better a doppelten Partei. He felt in his words a doubled meaning, a steiger wie wollt gemeint, as if he meant, soll schon kommen die Auslesung, if only the redemption would come already, soll schon nehmen an Eck zu dem finsteren Gottes, if only there would be an end to the dark exile. I think I should stop there.